Hello and welcome to another episode of Making Stories Knits with. Hi, lovely people. I hope you're all well. I'm joined today. Oh my God, Gigi, I just love that smile. I already told you I love that necklace, but that smile. Oh my God. So, lovelies, I'm joined today by the wonderful Gigi from GGmadeit. I'm so happy that you could join me today here. I've been a very big fan since I discovered you, which was I think maybe about 2 years ago. And then we had the honor of publishing, I think it was your first written piece in a magazine in issue 3, which I'm just gonna hold up here. So Gigi wrote a wonderful essay about sustainable growth for us. And I'm so happy that I get to chat with you live now. I'm not entirely sure if there's anyone in the audience who doesn't know you, but if there is, would you want to say hi and introduce yourself?
Sure. Hello, everybody. Thank you for taking the time to chat with us this afternoon. Well, depends on where you are. It's morning here on the East Coast. But I am Gaye Glasspie, better known as Gigi of GGmadeit.com. I'm a knitter. I'm a blogger. I am a lover of all things orange. And in the here and now, right now, I'm a Black woman. So those things are really important when it comes about knowing who I am in general. And I'm Shelby's mom and Gunner's grandma in a nutshell.
And Shelby has a book club now, right?
My Shelby is doing her thing. I'm very proud of her. Very proud of her. Yes.
You should be. Give me 1 second just to check into the live control room over on YouTube Studio, just to see that everything is working fine, and it looks as if it is. If anyone of you who is viewing this has any questions or comments, you can always comment at any point in time, and it will show up in the YouTube Studio, and I'm going to save those for the sort of Q&A portion of this live stream. I put together a couple of questions for Gigi, and the first one that I want to start with actually circles back to the essay that you wrote for us, Gigi. I would like to quote a little bit of it. It's in the first portion of the essay. And you wrote, "I can clearly remember when I decided to start GGmadeit.com. I did some research, and one thing was abundantly clear. Not many knitting bloggers looked like me. Now I could have allowed that fact to stop me or inspire me. I chose to be inspired. I knew I needed to create a space that was uniquely me. I needed to build a place that I could equally share my knitting skill as well as my authentic self." Can you tell us a little bit more about your story and how you got to be where you are today?
That part, how I got to be where I am. First, I'll say, to give you a little bit of background on my crafting history, I learned to crochet as a kid in summer camp. I'll be honest and say I was always afraid of knitting because it looked so polished. I thought it had to be hard to do. So it's probably going on 11 years. I picked up knitting really late in life, and I taught myself via YouTube. I started out with the big chunky stuff, and that was my thing because instant gratification. You could see the stitches. You walked away with a finished project really quickly. But real fast, as I stumbled upon, like, I had no idea what Ravelry was. I didn't even realize that there was a whole knitting universe out there. I can remember when I first stumbled across people talking about their Rhinebeck sweaters. What's Rhinebeck and what's a Rhinebeck sweater? Like, I was a complete brand new virgin to the industry. But what, as I said in the article, what was abundantly clear is I was also one of the very few Black people that I came across. So if I had to set a goal or if I aspired, they were always white, right? So I instantly figured, oh, I'll never gain that kind of following, or I'll never be able to, because I saw people traveling to these different events and recording, and I instantly thought, that can't be me because nobody looks like me. Like, I wrote about this on my blog for years, but it took what I like to refer to as January to happen before anybody started paying attention. So when you say, how did I get here? I would say the first 9,600, and not even that, was organic, but it's been because somebody white exposed me to their audience, right? You know, it started out with Christy Glass interviewing me. That was the first big bump in my following, because the algorithm, if you don't like posts with people that are Black, Instagram is never going to show you posts with people that are Black, right? So if you're not going to seek that out naturally, whether you're going because they're Black or you're just searching under a hashtag for a particular project and you stumble across someone, I don't know that people were looking for someone that looked like me to knit, because I have often run into like, you knit? You know, I didn't think, you know, you knit. What do you mean? I have two hands like you do, right? So to say how I got here, a lot of it has been because someone else has shared me with their audience. So as we were talking about, Adela of Lola Bean Yarn Co. refers to it as the Black wave. So in January, I added my 2 cents to the conversation because I was unaware of it, and my followers at the time kept saying, well, what do you think? What do you think? And I'm like, what do I think about what? And they were like, this blog post that everybody is fighting about. Well, if they're fighting about it, I don't want no parts of it, you know. And they just kept on. Like, my followers wanted my opinion, right? So I looked and I simply said, it's her blog, it's her words, it's her feelings. She has the right to express them. But in general, my take on it is people need to learn how to apologize, right? Whether you intended to hurt me or not, you did. And you don't get to say to me that I shouldn't be hurting because you didn't intend to hurt me. So I used an analogy. I said, it's my toe, my pain. You don't get to tell me that because you didn't mean to step on my toe, that my toe doesn't hurt. That's the absolute falsest thing I've ever heard in my life. Well, the world exploded. Everybody was telling everybody, oh, you got to follow Gigi. You got to follow Gigi. Oh, you know, Gigi. And I was like, oh, slow down. You know, if there was a virtual door, imagine me at the door of GGmadeit and Instagram. Slow down. Because the only color I have for you is orange. Please don't follow me because I'm Black. Please don't do that. And don't do that to anybody else, because we're just as talented as the next one. And we don't deserve to be tokenized. So that's how I got here. You know, I'll say something, one of my posts would strike a nerve and the shares would start. And now here they come. You know, we're at Black Wave number 2. You know, I said, so because somebody, you know, one of my followers like, are you okay? I don't know why I would be. No, I'm not. No. You know, with all this civil unrest. So in a nutshell, I was pushed here, like I was pulled here. My goal was always to be a blogger that could travel and bring these events back to people that couldn't go, but I never expected to be able to do that because I'm Black, and I didn't see many Black people doing it. So this diversity and inclusion and discrimination and racism, whatever word you want to use to fit the state of the world, kind of pushed me into this position of something I wanted, but I really feel like I was pulled and pushed here. It wasn't and I will take credit for people, those that stay, they do stay for me, right? They're no longer, they may have come because they felt like they should to, their conscience said I need some color, but those that stay, they stay for me, and that I'm proud of. So in a nutshell, I was pushed here, pulled, cornered. I was, you know.
Yeah.
That's how we got here.
It sounds like a very uncomfortable place to be in. Is that so, or is that how do you think about that?
It's a double-edged sword. I'm proud. I'm very proud of my growth. But then I'm always like, are they here for me, or are they here because I'm Black? Like that's always playing in the back of my head. But you know, those that stay, those that I'll share a memory and they'll be like, yeah, Gigi, I remember that. Those that have been around for a minute, they make me feel good and they make me know that what I'm doing is worth their time. The
Yeah.
content that I'm providing is giving them either something they didn't know about, whether it be a yarn they didn't know about, a designer they didn't know about, a stitch they didn't know about, a gadget they didn't know about. Like, I'm leaving them with something that they can use, something that's tangible. And then the flip side of that is, I make them think,
Yeah.
because yeah, I'm afraid of sweaters. I'm okay with it now, but when I had no problem with saying, I don't know how you guys do that. I can't do that. I had no problem just being who I am. And I think I scratch that. I know that's why people stay, because I'm just 100% real me, happy, sad, whatever the day gets, is that what you're going to get? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I have to say, and that is not on the list that I sent you, I admire that so much, because it takes an enormous amount of vulnerability to be authentic online, and
Right.
to be well, and to show up consistently the way that you do, and every time every time I watch one of your videos, I feel your heart. Does that make sense?
And thank you for saying that,
It
because that's always been my intention. I've learned in these almost 54 years, the best place to get to the core of somebody is their heart. So if you could chisel away and get to the heart, your message will be delivered. So thank you for saying that.
You're very welcome. I'm going to read out the next question.
Okay.
In a world where part of your authentic self, your skin color, being a Black woman, and also your ancestry, being an African American woman,
right,
is systemically and systematically discriminated against, you are one of the, as you already said, sadly still very few Black knitting bloggers out there. You kind of share how you feel about this, but how do you feel about this? And also, especially, how do you feel about this, as you said already, in those waves that you've experienced, first in January and now, how the death of George Floyd and the protests kind of changed your feelings around having this spot in the knitting community, if it has changed?
I don't think it has changed, because I've always had this conversation. I've always spoke about the fact that we were far and few in between. And then when we did show up,
yeah,
it was like, well, what are you doing here? So it was painful. It's still very painful, but I think it's needed, right? You got to peel that scab off if you're going to heal. So yes, it's trying, it's tiring, it's an emotional task. But if I can, by me standing up and saying how I feel and exposing my heart and putting myself on the line, is going to pave the way. So when I decide I'm tired of this, that you can see that there's others out there. I'm not the only one. And that's the thing too that bothers me. Like when the folks say, oh, Gigi, we need you. There are so many other Black people out there that knit well, that design well, that will do well on your podcast, on your YouTube channel, on your whatever, right? Come visit your yarn store. There's more people. So if I keep standing up, and that's going to allow for other people to get some of the opportunities that are being presented to me, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Like, is it tiring? My God, it is. Because I'm an emotional person. So people that share, heartfelt things, I'm typing and I'm crying. Adela always calls me a punk, and Shelby's like, Mommy, would you please stop? But I'm just an emotional person. So it wears me out. There's days when I'm just like, I can't. Like, I gotta just, I'll look at it later. I can't, But having said that, there's so many other bloggers out there. There's so many other knitters, crocheters that are Black and that are unseen. I can't necessarily say ignored. They're just not seen because somebody hasn't lifted them up and said, look, Here's one. It's okay to follow, because that's how I feel. I feel like because, the Christy Glasses of the world or whoever decided to share me, they have a large following. They're saying, oh, here's one. She's good. You can follow her. It's okay to follow her. Right? Like when people say to me, if I say something has happened, oh, Gigi, they didn't know it was you. What does that mean? Like I'm a good one? That's a good black one. You could be nice to her. No, that doesn't make sense. Either you're nice to people in general, or you're not. Or you're just not nice to black people. Accept that. Decide if you're going to change, and if you're not going to change, then you need to somehow change your story to say no black people allowed. Like I don't get like the excuses that are put forth when I say something happens to me, and like I have to correct. Oh, well, Gigi, what store? We'll tell them they can't do that to Gigi. You're missing the point. It's not about me. They shouldn't do that to any black person. Period. It's not about me. And that's where I have to like always throw that point out, because I know my followers love me and I love them too for that. But I always have to turn that screw just a little tighter and say, no, guys, it's not about me. Because anybody that walks in there is black is going to get the same treatment. And that's what has to stop. So, has my feelings about the inequity changed? No, it hasn't. It's always been the same. And I've always spoke about it one way or another. If you go back in my IGTVs, I've always spoke about it. There was one I talked about, what about my brown makes you cast your eyes down? Like there's still, I go places and it's refreshing when I go someplace and they don't know who I am, right? And they might not necessarily be rude, but you can see the
side eye, but
right. Like, can I help you? Like, why are you here? Because I want to buy yarn. I knit. Oh,
yeah.
And it's always like they can't even catch themselves to fix their face to hide the shop. Because or they say, oh, we don't really have much to pertain to crochet. I didn't say I crocheted. That's your assumption. I knit. Oh, yeah. So I don't know that much has changed. It's just, again, this time I think George Floyd was so horrible that the world can't help but you can't turn your head away now, even if you want to. Like, even those that are trying to justify it in any way, it's pretty damn impossible. And this time, the difference, not that it feels any difference to me because this is my life. Adela said it best the other day. I can't just zip my skin off when I decide I don't want to deal with being black, right? That's not an option. But I just think people are really seeing that we got a problem in this country, in the world actually, but specifically here in the US.
Yeah, I'm watching it from over here in Berlin, and it's kind of what I said before we went live, trying to understand as much as possible without actually being over there. Right. And I'm just hoping, I'm not religious, but I'm hoping to everything that's out there that there's actually going to be lasting change.
Same.
Because there are a lot of aspects, especially having grown up in a country that's come out of World War II, that's come out of our own history, that's dealt with some things that are not comparable at all as to how the US is treating especially Black people. But that's found a way to deal with their history that I just hope, and I know that there are ways to deal with this, and there are ways to systematic change.
But the people with the power don't want that. So
let's not talk about the people.
Right. We're not going to do that.
if we're going on a Trump tangent here,
we're not doing
this
that.
won't be a safe.
We're not doing that.
I have a potty mouth. So
okay. Next question. We're not going to do
that. Next question. Relates to anyone who's watching, might have seen one of your last videos, which I called the Kiss Me First video, which I loved. If you haven't watched it, watch it. And you kind of talked about this a little bit in that video as well. One topic that I keep coming back as a white woman and as a business owner in my own anti-racism work is tokenism. And as you already said, you had a gigantic influx of followers already last year, you know, in the first wave, and then now in the second wave as well, probably. And probably tons of people and businesses reaching out asking for, hey, Gigi, be on my podcast. Hey, Gigi, I have some yarn for you. Hey, Gigi, I don't know, I want you to write a magazine article. Yeah, stuff like all of this. How do you differentiate between genuine allyship and performative tokenism? Is there a way?
Well, here's the thing, right? I think with any type of business, let's remove the blackness away from it. With any kind of business, you do your research, right? If you're going to put your money into something, you want to check and find out that person's reputation. What other work have they done? Who else have they worked with? Can I get some references? Do I really like their work? Just common, core, human. I want to protect my investment, so let me go see what I can do, right? What I can find out before I even decide I'm going to work with this person. Because once you attach yourself to me, you've attached yourself to me. So whatever negative comes with me, people can assume that you have those same beliefs, right? So for people to just blindly reach out to me, right? Because if you reach out to me and I've never heard of you, first thing I start doing, if you have your website in there, I'm going to look at your website, right? You have Instagram, I'm going through your feed. You have Twitter, I'm going through your feed, right? And when I see that you don't even have black yarn on your feed, nothing, ever. I'll even specifically go back to last January to see how you address that. And when you didn't, and I'm going to stop here for a minute and say, I am of the mindset that you cannot force anybody to this conversation. I don't like the whole call out culture. I'm not a fan of that. I feel like people respond to avoid the call out culture. And those are the people I absolutely don't want to be bothered with, because you don't mean it. You're just doing it to avoid drama, right? So I do my research before I agree to work with you, right? So I feel like before you come to me, do that, right? If you know that you have never, ever dealt with anybody black, ever, and now here you come, you want me, I would respect you more if you say, listen, Gigi, I'm new to you. I just found you. I have been spending my days on your blog, your YouTube channel. I love what you represent. If you do your work, you'll see that I have some room to work on my diversity. But I want to start with you. Be honest with me. Don't come at me like, you know, oh, I've always been doing this. You have not. You have not. I don't even have to scroll far. You have not. Right? So I am not your black flag to wave to the world. Look, I got me one. Don't do that to me. Now, I respect you more if you say, if you do some research, you're not going to find anything, because I'm trying. I just realized I'm standing in the gap. I need to do better. Right? Be honest. Be upfront. It's an uncomfortable conversation to have, but I can tell you, people on my side of it will appreciate that. And they still might decide not to work with you, but at least they know you're being upfront and sincere instead of hiding behind, this is the popular thing to do, because that's how I feel. I feel like I'm a trend right now, right? And instead of just getting anybody black, we got to get Gigi, because everybody's loving on Gigi. Oh, I need Gigi on my fundraiser because Gigi raised all this money. No, get away from me. Because I'm not to be used. I'm not to be collected. I'm not your little toy black knitter to sit on your desk to prove to the people that you are anti-race. No, I need you to sit with why you want me. And then have that conversation with me. And then I'll decide if I want to work with you or not. But people need to stop just, oh, everybody's sharing Gigi. this is gonna make me look good if I have Gigi. This ain't about, no. I'm not here to make you feel better. I'm not here to make you look good. I really need you to sit with that before you address me. And if you honestly say, listen, Gigi, yes, I have work to do. And you speak my language. I like the way that you address the topics. And I feel like my audience will hear you. I can respect that more than just we don't normally pay people, but if you want me to pay you, or I can find something in the budget. What? So if I was white, would you have started that sentence that way? You would not have. Right? So it's just little things at the way that they approach me, the statements that they make that make it real clear. No, I'm not your black flag. Sorry, I can't help you. And I just, and again, I've said this 1,000 times, and not everybody agrees with me here, but if you are on the other side, if you felt some kind of way, if you look up and see me come in a yarn shop, or if I'm walking through Stitches West and you are a large majority of the crowd that has no idea who I am, and you're looking at me like, why are these people walking up to her and want to take her picture, all excited to see her? Who is she? Right? If that was you, but George Floyd made you wake up, right? Something that somebody said made you realize, I need to do a little work here, right? I get that people need space to grow. I'm all about giving people grace to change, to pivot, because this is not a spin around on a dime and voila, I'm changed. You're lying.
Yeah.
Because it's ingrained. It's ingrained. I'll give you an example. I was born with my thumb in my mouth. I sucked my thumb until I was 18 years old. The first time I decided I wanted to get nails on my artificial nails, and I fell asleep and put my thumb in my mouth, and I cut the roof of my mouth. I couldn't not only suck my thumb, I couldn't eat. Right. So my point is, I'll be 54 years old. So do the math. From 18 to 54. Till this very day, if I see a kid with their thumb in their mouth, my mouth waters.
Yeah.
I stopped sucking my thumb at 18. So my point is, if you were raised that black people are less than, if you were raised that if a black person was killed, they was doing something they had no business, so they shouldn't have been there, they shouldn't have done that. If that's your train of thought and you were raised that way and you believe that all of your life, you're not just flipping around and, oh, I don't believe that now. It's going to take some time. You're going to stumble. You're going to mess up. You have to, us on this side, have to give people grace to willingly change if that's what they want to do. And you on that side need to realize it's not happening overnight.
Yeah.
And your process or your thoughts behind having me, that might be an oh shit moment, right? Oh shit, that was a little racist, right? I just had an oh shit, that was racist moment. And let me rethink that and apologize and say, okay, Gigi, I came at you completely wrong. I'm sorry. I'm trying to change because yes, yesterday I would have totally ignored you. And that I can respect. But the people that are coming to me like, okay, George Floyd died Monday, Tuesday, give me all the black people. No. Nope.
Yeah.
So, those that are willing to change, I believe everybody is here for it, right? You have some folks that are angry, but you have to understand that anger is justified, right? I'm one of the rare ones that has a way of expressing my anger very calmly. Everything I say is not nice, but I say it in a way that you can hear me, that you're willing to hear me and not sitting up in preparation to defend yourself. Because nobody likes to be accused of anything, right? Your first natural instinct is to defend yourself. But I believe I say things in such a way that people can, that defense might be creeping up, but it doesn't creep up as fast. And it makes you say, oh shit, right? So just be aware of your own stuff when you are deciding that you're going to change and how you approach whoever that is that you want to approach. Whether they be white, whoever it is, you really got to sit with your why. Like, why do I want Gigi? Sit with that, process that. And then how do you think that's going to sound to Gigi? Do you think Gigi wants to be wanted for that reason? Like, process that and then go forward. is the best thing that I can say. People really got to sit with their why. Like, why now? Why didn't you want me last time? 2 months ago. Prior to last January, why didn't you want me then and you want me now? Process that.
Yeah. And I also love what you said about being very honest then in your outreach. Like, what are you trying to paint over?
Right.
Do people assume that you're stupid or what?
Right.
All of a sudden, George Floyd is murdered. And then 3 minutes later, you have that email in your inbox saying, hey, I have this great opportunity for you.
Bingo. And it happens literally like that. Like, I can time it. I'll do a post, Hannah, and it'll go crazy, right? Everybody sharing. Oh, Gigi's talking again. Oh, listen to what Gigi said. And ping, 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 ping. Here comes the request. Oh, I would love to have you on my podcast. I would love to. Who are you? Could you say hi first?
Yeah. And I think also the thing that I think is really hard for the person reaching out to you to acknowledge is you're not benefiting from it. Anyone reaching out to you being like, hey, like, this is exposure for you. No, you don't need it. You don't need it. The people reaching out to you, they need it. Not the other way around.
And that's my thing. Like, I'm good. I don't need you to wave a flag and tell people about me. I'm good, right? So come at me correct. If you were looking at a white blogger and you would have paid them, you need to be offering me that same money. Don't offer to pay somebody and then tell me, oh, well, we have, my platform has, hundreds of thousands of followers. And your point is, if your platform is that powerful, shouldn't it be me coming to you asking to collaborate? Shouldn't I be requesting to come on your podcast because I need your audience? No, you want to wave me around as your black flag. And no, thank you. Appreciate it. No.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, no, because I don't think that everybody that comes at me is has ill will, but they don't think first. And again, if you could share with your fellow businesses why, just answer that question. Why do I want Gigi and why do I want her now?
Yeah.
Versus before.
And from a business owner's perspective, you should do that check always. As you said, you might not be the right fit. Yeah. And then maybe if you are looking to be more inclusive, to have maybe, I don't know, a more diverse staff of writers or designers or whatever you're doing in your business, there are thousands of ways of finding other black bloggers or knitters or stuff, like starting with, you can at your own comments and see whoever is commenting on that, like on your posts on Instagram.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, you can go to BIPOC and Fiber by Janet Sloan, who's collecting people left, right, and center who are working in various aspects of the fiber industry. There's thousands of ways that people can do the research. And it's so easy to just say, oh, I don't know where to find them. This is bullshit.
That capital, extra large can of bullshit. It is. I agree.
You mentioned standing in the gap already in passing a few minutes ago.
Okay.
And that's a term that I think you've coined in the knitting community, at least I don't know where, like, before you recorded your video on standing in the gap. For everyone who's not familiar with what that means, could you share what standing in the gap is?
Correct. I absolutely can. So, as I said, we were talking and I told you I started getting messages when all this started. Was I okay? Right. And I recorded the video and said I wasn't okay. Right. So then the next set of questions were, what can I do, Gigi? How can I help you? It's killing me that you're in pain. How can I help you? Everything was very personalized. And that's when I said, You know, everybody is not about going out and marching. Everybody is not about that life, right? Everybody is not about calling out companies or doing all that things. You that may not be your thing. But what you can do is, I narrowed it down to our industry. When you see me come in that yarn shop and you hear the whispers of what they're saying about me, don't just sit there if you don't agree. Say something. That's
Mm.
standing in the gap. When you're at home and you know your husband says the news is on and your husband says, oh well, that's what they get, that's what, you know, they're thugs, or whatever the expression is, and your children are sitting there, right? When you don't say anything, you just taught them that yes, what your husband said was in fact true. Stand in the gap, have that conversation, right? So the gap is a slippery thing because it presents itself in all different forms,
Mm.
right? The gap could be donating, the gap could be speaking up, the gap could be sharing someone that you may not have necessarily shared with your audience before, right? All different ways to get that message out there that Black people are human and they matter. Just by saying Black Lives Matter is not in any way saying that I want your life to be insignificant. It's just that right now, right here and now, and it has been the right now for years, we need your help. Like everything that we've done hasn't worked. So standing a gap is a way for you to help me stop feeling some kind of way, even with, I don't like the word fame, but even with my popularity, right? I still, if I'm going into a yarn shop that I've never been in before, I still pause. I still pause and I
Mm.
prepare myself for the impact, and I shouldn't have to,
Yeah.
right? I shouldn't have to, but that's just my everyday life. So my thing is stand in the gap. Don't allow your friend who might feel some kind of way, right? Or that yarn shop owner that happens to be your friend that totally ignored me when I came in the store and you sat there and watched it happen. But then you want to come and send me a note and say, Gigi, I'm so
Mm.
sorry. You know, I was there. I saw that. I can't believe she did that. Yeah, you can. And why did you say, why are you talking to me? And why not talk to her?
Yeah.
Because we, unfortunately, we are past Black people being able to fix this. We cannot fix this. We need help. And that's what stands in the gap is. That is saying that you're willing to have that conversation if someone asks you what is the gap, right? Because the gap starts at your kitchen table. You don't even have to leave home. The gap is in your house
Yeah.
with you every day. It's a real simple thing. You just have to fine tune your ear and react, right? If you're it's summertime, you're at the beach, the conversation gets ugly and you don't agree, don't sit there and not say
Yeah.
anything because your silence is saying you agree. And say to them, you know, you're not going to be able to change anybody's mind that's ingrained in it. But if enough people start saying, you know what, I don't like that, I don't agree with you, and if you're going to keep having that conversation, I'm leaving, right? And if enough people do that, you know, because I think my heart wants to believe that there's less that feel that I'm less than human than it is those that feel that I'm human, right? So
Yeah.
if those that feel that I'm human fill up that gap, it's going to start to isolate the ones that do feel like I'm less than trash, right? So
Hopefully,
standing in the
yeah.
gap is a real simple way for you to let somebody know, your uncle, your neighbor, your best friend who's a teacher, and she's referring to her students in derogatory terms. Do not sit there and let that conversation take place without saying something, right? It doesn't have to mean go now and having to dodge tear gas and rubber bullets. You don't have to do that, but you can use your power. You can call in, right? Breonna Taylor's killers should not still be alive. You can call
Yeah.
your congressman, your senate, your state official. You call for everything else. Use your power, right? You know, we should be way beyond acknowledging that you have privilege. You know, you have it. Use it. Use
Yeah.
it to help us. That's what the gap is. I need you to use your power to help me be comfortable, to me be safe, for me to not feel some kind of way when I go someplace because I'm the only Black person. Like I have an opportunity coming up that's coming up next year. And I already know I'm going to be the only Black person there. I already know that I'm going to be the only Black person there. And I have to tell people all the time, you know, I can't tell you how many times I'll post video from Vogue or Rhinebeck or wherever it was that I was. And people will say to me, send me notes. I never went, Gigi, because I didn't think Black people were there. Right? When I was at Stitches West in February, I can't tell you how many Black people came up to me and hugged me. Not because they knew who I was. A lot of them had no idea who Gigi was. But the fact that if you looked in the program, there was a half a sheet ad with my face saying, here's where I'm going to be at this time. You know, you had people just like, oh, who's this Black woman that they got in here? Her picture in the program. Like, I have to go meet her. And they were just happy that I was there because I was Black. Had no idea why I was there, what I was going to talk about at these meet and greets at these different booths. But because I was Black, they were like, oh my God, I'm so proud of you. People that don't even know me, but because they were Black and they know that we don't normally get these opportunities, they were just beaming with pride, complete and utter strangers. I'm not talking about my followers. My followers are different. They knew I was coming. They was excited. They've been begging me to come to the West Coast. That's different. These are people that opened up that program, was like, oh, wait a minute, who is this? And that's the sad part, because we don't see ourselves in these programs. We don't see ourselves in these magazines, right? So when it happens, it's a huge, huge thing. And that's the gap. If you're sitting on the board of one of these companies and we're preparing the magazine for next month, and here we go again, it ain't a Black, only thing Black in this magazine is the ink. Say something, right? That's the gap. The gap is home. The gap is at work. The gap is in the park. The gap is in the school. It's everywhere you go. You just need to say something. Don't sit there and let it happen again. Right?
Yes. Yes. Unequivocally, yes. I wanted to share that I found the Standing in the Gap video so moving, and so, I don't know, it just hit a chord in me that it made me understand that that tiny actions matter, you know, that the next time I was going to have don't get me wrong, I love them to death, my in-laws over. And one of them would say, as inevitably happens, something that they think is completely normal, but really very racist. That this is an opportunity to stand in the gap. And it just made this crystal clear for me. It made it clear. I don't know why it took me so long, and I don't know why I had to watch your video, but it flipped a switch inside of me when I was like, yes, there's no question that the next time I need to speak up, and I'm going to speak up, and I have, and it's been very interesting. But I find this so powerful about the Standing in the Gap message, because no matter what your living circumstances, no matter which, you know, where you are, where you live, how you live your life, whether you're, you know, a stay-at-home mom or dad homeschooling your kids, or you're on the board of a craft of the craft council, for example, you know, you have those opportunities, and probably you have them every day in and every day out. And you know, it takes practice to recognize them, but really it's not that hard. Yeah.
It's not.
And it's especially not hard if you compare the enormous amount of privilege that comes with having this skin color and this hair color. And then, like, for fuck's sake, it's not hard.
Right. It's not. It's really not. It's uncomfortable. Right. So there again, that privilege, you have the privilege of, you know, I don't feel like being uncomfortable today, so I'm not. You know, that's not my fight. I'm good, you know. But again, standing in the gap is a conscious effort to be uncomfortable, to address things that need to be addressed. You just simply have to say something. And I think because that made it tangible, Again, it was another analogy showing people ways that they can do something right now. Like you didn't have to go out and buy nothing. You didn't have to prepare. You ain't got to get in the car and travel. You can do this right here and right now. So I think that's why it resonated so loudly.
Let's come to the last question on my question list, because then I don't know if you're knitting on anything right now. If you are, I want to see.
I am. Yes, I'll show
but
you that.
before we go into that, over the last few weeks, you've teamed up with a few really amazing makers. Birdie Parker from Birdie Parker Designs. I'm still waiting for my little leather.
They're coming.
I mean, I must imagine. Yeah.
Oh my God! But I think
have time.
Last time, I think she said it's like 700 left. Like she's getting there. She's been doing about 100 or so a day. So it's coming. It's coming.
Oh. So you did that, and then I think with her you raised for Black Lives Matter, and then with Damie Hunter from Magpie Fibers you raised for the Conscious Kid.
Correct.
Which I love, because I love the Conscious Kid, because I have a very small kid. He's like 9.5 months old, but I love it for all of the resources that it provides us as parents.
Correct.
Anyways, besides the point, you raised almost $70,000 US.
Yeah.
Had a lot of money.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Pretty amazing. Yeah, pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
How did those collaborations come about? How did they happen? And is there anything that we should keep an eye out for in the future? Anything coming?
Well, I don't have anything coming, simply because everybody that has been coming to me after them just doesn't feel, it feels slimy. I feel used, right? I feel like, oh God, she raised all this money for them. I need her. Like, don't do that. Like, if you sincerely want to raise money for something, fine. But so no, I'm gonna stop there. Nothing's coming up. But Damie and Birdie Parker, Christy from Birdie Parker thinks that she loves orange as much as I do, but I beg to differ.
There's an orange loving contest going on.
Yes. She even went as far as, was that Vogue or was that Stitches West? I forget which one, but she had the ends of her hair dyed orange. I said, oh, so you just going extra far. But I can't take credit. I take credit because the people were coming because of me, and they used my logo and my words on the actual items. But both of them came to me. Like Birdie, those trays, she sells them anyway. Originally, there's a yarn ball in the bottom of it. And I fight with Birdie because anytime I want something from her, she just gives it to me. And I'm like, woman, you're in business. You're never going to make money if you keep giving stuff away. So I never say anything to her. I just have to go order it. Because, in the whole shuffle of everybody else ordering, it'll get lost. Well, unbeknownst to me, she saw my order. She got in touch with Adela. Adela gave her my logo, and they plotted to put the my logo in the tray. So she reached out to me. She said, I didn't forget about you. I was trying to get more leather or whatever. And she said, which didn't make sense to me at the time, she said, when you get your tray, call me because I have something I would like to do. And I'm like, okay, no problem. You know me, whatever you want to do, I got your back. And I totally forgot about it. We go live every night and we open our mail, and I'm opening the mail. And then when I opened the box and saw it was two, I said, Christy is truly going to make me hurt her. I did not pay for 2 trays. I paid for 1. I said, maybe she wants me to give it away or something. I'm saying all this as I'm untried. And I opened it and I was like, oh my God. And Adela falls out laughing. And I was like, guys, look, like I was blown away because I just thought that was just so cool. And then she reached out. She says, listen, I want to do a fundraiser. She said, you tell me what organization. She said, but I want to make these trays and we'll do 100% of the proceeds. I was like, wait a minute, whoa, time out. 100%. She said, yes. She said, this is what I feel like I can do. And this is what I want to do. So I told her, I said, we can't just do all orange, although you and I would be fine with that. The rest of the world, I said, you see, you have other colors. And honestly, they're cute, but I don't know that everybody would want them. I was not prepared for the reaction none whatsoever. Like it got to the point where I was like, Birdie, you got to shut it down because you are a one woman business. Like
business. Yeah.
You're going to be making these things until Christmas. Like we got to shut it down. And every day she was just like, oh my God, Gigi, oh my God, Gigi. Like, and I was just like, okay, and then she's on the other side of the country. It's not even like I could go and help her if I wanted to, you know, but, and same with, Damie, another one. These are people, let me just go back and say this part. These are people that from the moment I met them, never made me feel like I was a token. It was just one person to another and we vibed. Like Christy and I have been fighting from the moment that I met her because she has a pair of orange Doc Martens and she's the only reason she still owns them is because her foot is bigger than mine because I would have taken them off her feet. You know, that's how our relationship started and it's sincere because we just, you know, she'll walk past with her orange suitcase. I'm like, whatever, I have the same one. You know, we just, that's us, right? And then Damie, when I first met Damie handed me a bag and she was like, I've been dying to meet you. She was like, I have something, I've been keeping it a secret and I hope you're okay with it. If you feel like I overstepped, let me know, whatever. And she handed me a bag and she made the on purpose orange for me. That was absolutely gorgeous. And I just, and you know, so one thing, you know, you've heard me say people try to give me yarn that's using me. But the fact that she listens to me and she named it on purpose says she was paying attention. It wasn't just about, you know, so that's how we started. And so when she said, I want to do something, I didn't even know what Damie was going to do. I said, okay, just let me know what I got to do, where I got to stand. Just let me know. And when I saw the tumbler, she said, you get a package, you should have it by Thursday. When I seen it, I screamed. I was like, these are just so cool. You know, again, because I had just did Christy, I was feeling some kind of way because I'm like, I don't know that I'm going to be able to raise the same amount of money for Birdie. And I wanted to, like my heart wanted. And when she sent me I said, say what? I was just blown away. So I was very happy that but I can't take credit for doing them. That was their ideas, the two of them. So yeah, proud of them.
Yeah, I'm proud of you.
It's pretty cool. Thank you.
It's really cool.
Thank you.
I love seeing collaborations like that and the good that they can do. I'm not a believer in competition. I'd much rather work together. And I think both of those are excellent examples for what we can shift the world a little bit.
Yeah,
do that.
We're powerful together. And when people accept that, there's room for everybody. There's there's lane. Everybody can do their own thing, and we can lift each other up and help each other. Everybody wins.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So you said you wanted to talk whips.
Yes. If you have any that you'd like to share, which I'm. Oh, I've been eyeing that on your Instagram.
This pattern is called Weekend on the Coast. But more importantly, this yarn is exclusive to the Knit Stars. Adela, when I became a Knit Star, they said you could have an exclusive yarn. So naturally, I went to my damn Della. And every time I think that she has run out of orange, she shocks me because this has just all kinds of neon yellow. It's absolutely
so
gorgeous.
Good.
So I wanted to wear something when I record for my Knit Star. So this is the sweater that's taking me forever. This sweater is going to always be special to me because it has all my tears and my anger and my hurt and my frustration. Because normally I would have been way done with this, but I can't relax enough to knit as of late. But yeah, that's what I'm working on. And it's supposed to be a continuous ribbing, but I messed up somewhere and I was like, you know what? This is how it's going to be. And that's the end of that story. So
that's the beautiful thing. I never fix my mistakes in my knitting. No. I think it tells a story.
Yep.
It makes the pieces, they are unique anyways. Right. And coming from someone whose wardrobe consists exclusively of, well, not exclusively, but mostly of dark blue and plain pink. But like, I'm not a huge orange lover, but that orange I can get on board with. I love the speckles.
Yeah. Adela is the speckle queen. She's trying. I'm not normally a fan of speckles, but she sneaks them in somehow or another.
She's like, hey, Gigi, just a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit of speckles.
She always says, can I do what I want to do? Go ahead. Just go ahead.
You're like, Okay, people, now's your chance. If anyone has any questions, comments, anything that they'd like to share, I'll pop over to the YouTube live control room, however that's called, in a second.
Yeah, I see the comments. I have it up on my iPad. There's a lot of folks in here. Hi, guys. I see you. I love you too.
Okay, are you seeing any comments, Gigi? Maybe my live chat is broken because I can't see any.
I do see comments. I don't see any questions. Just a lot of love.
No, love is good.
Yeah, I don't see any questions, guys. If you have questions, I am looking at my iPad. If you want to ask a question, go for it. They didn't make you question who you are. Okay. Yeah, no questions. Everybody's just saying hi, hello from England. Hi, morning, lady. I see Felicia. Hey, Felicia. Marie. I see a lot of my followers. Hi, guys.
Yay. Hello and welcome. Well, a little late welcome.
Christina. Yeah, right. I love you guys too. Do you know how much we love you, Gigi? Aw, I can imagine. I love
you have the best followers. I always get sucked down into the comment section under your posts. You have the best ones.
I call that the magic. I love when I'm no longer a part of the conversation and they start talking to each other. I love that part. That's my favorite part.
Yeah.
Claire says, I was wondering if writing is something that you've always come naturally to you or something you've had to work on over time. Claire, I'm my mother's only child. Let me rephrase that. I have siblings with my dad, but I am my mother's only child. So most of my favorite things or most of the things that I like to do were things that I didn't need anyone else to enjoy. So I always kept a journal or a diary. I'm going to date myself. So I've always, I wouldn't call myself a writer. I still don't call myself a writer, but I enjoy expressing myself. Yeah, I have done that for quite some time. I'm hugging you back, Marissa. I'm glad I brightened your morning. So yeah, it doesn't seem like there's many questions, Hannah. I think we're good.
Great.
People just giving love, and I'll take love any day.
Oh, that's wonderful. Great. Oops. Sorry.
Okay, wait, we do have one. Leslie, I'll take you first. Knit Stars will be opening back up in the fall, so you will have an opportunity to sign up in the fall. I'll be sharing my link again. As you guys know, Knit Stars is an affiliate program, so I get a percentage of it if you use my link. So I will be sharing that when it opens back up. Emma says, is there something in particular that draws you to the color orange? A memory, just the color itself, someone that wears it, etc. And did you ever have another favorite color? Emma, that's a heavy question, and I'm going to answer it quickly because I know it's about time for us to end. In my culture, Black people, there's something called colorism. And what that means is, even to my own people, because I'm dark, we are saw as less than. Darker, if you were darker, you weren't considered pretty. You were told that you couldn't wear bright colors because of my skin complexion. So no, I've never had the other favorite color. I've always loved orange, but I've always been taught that I shouldn't wear orange because I'm so dark. So once I decided that was nonsense, once I was confident enough in who I am and I decided to wear orange, I believe that's why I wear so much, because I went through the majority of my life hiding the fact that I loved orange and I wouldn't wear it. And I think that's now why you can see me from the moon, because I'm trying to make up for lost time. So that answers that. Do you find it hard to be on all the time? Maria, this is who I am. I love people, whether they be virtually or in person. I am a people person. I draw energy from you guys. Right now, it's hard because it's just such an emotionally draining time right now. And there's no, as much as people say, oh, can we get back to knitting? First, I've never been able to ever just knit because I'm Black. So that's not an option for me. But normally, no. Right now, it's probably one of the few times that it's been quite taxing because it's just so emotional. You're welcome, Emma. I think we're good now.
Great. Thank you so much for jumping in, Gigi, with the questions.
You're welcome. No problem. No problem.
Last question. Where can people find you? Well, other than
if you
here.
if you just simply Google GGmadeit, I'm pretty much GGmadeit everywhere. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube is actually my name, but if you search GGmadeit, my videos will come up. Pinterest is I'm GGmadeit everywhere, and the blog, my website is GGmadeit.com. So pretty much, GGmadeit will find your way to me one way in one place or another, whichever platform you prefer.
Wonderful. I've included a couple of links
on Instagram.
And the link to your Instagram is in the down bar below, as is the link to your website.
Okay.
And I believe the YouTube channel, I'll have to double check that, but I'll add the rest of the links there as well. So everyone.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Wants to.
I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. So much, Gigi.
This was
wonderful, and I'm so glad that we got to at least sort of meet virtually.
Yes.
I was kind of hoping. Yes. Well, I had grand plans of coming to Rhinebeck and stuff.
Okay.
Didn't happen, but I'm really hoping that we get to meet in real life.
Same here.
The next year.
And thank
maybe.
you. Yeah, thank you. I'll end with this. Thank you for taking the chance and having me in your magazine. Because I know that that's not an easy thing to do. You have to look at your own audience and see will they be susceptible. So thank you for stepping out there and having me in your magazine. I appreciate that.
You're so welcome. And I'll say this, it was a very easy decision. I did a bit of research and then I was like, this is a voice that this is a beautiful voice.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I truly appreciate it.
All righty. Gigi, thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll be wrapping up my day here. It's a little bit later.
It's the end of the day for you. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. And everyone who's watching, I'll be back in 2 weeks from now with the next Making Stories Knits with YouTube live stream. Until then, take care and bye-bye.